今天要介绍的是日本 APS 软体，它叫 Asprova， 公司的名称也叫 Asprova。1994年成立，是日本最早从事生产排程软体的公司。Asprova APS 到今年9月30号为止，在全世界44个国家及地区安装了3259套 Asprova 系统。Asprova 在2017年获得日本经济产业大臣奖，该产品得到日本政府的认可。Asprova APS 介绍的影片被放入日本国立科学博物馆展示。这是我今天准备的 agenda。最后我会介绍如何评估 APS 系统，还有 Q&A 的时间。
Many factories want to rapidly convert to smart factories, but even today, many manufacturing sites still use spreadsheets for production planning and handwritten work instructions. Many times they rely on personal experience and intuition to create a plan. Therefore, they spend a great deal of time on planning. They need a huge amount of time to change plans and answer deadlines. They don't even know the status of the equipment load. Furthermore, the plan is not synchronized with the previous and next processes. Such a plan will result in a lot of under inventory and waiting time. Let's introduce Asprova. With Asprova, you can automatically create a production plan that takes into account the load and capacity of the equipment, the correct resources, and the correct order. It is possible to create production plans automatically and at high speed while taking various constraints into account. Of course, you can easily adjust the plan manually with Asprova. In addition, it is easy to import data for planning, output field work instructions, and import actual results. Difficult requirements can be handled by configuration without program development. Asprova is based on know-how accumulated through the introduction of more than 3,000 units worldwide. Asprova handle a variety of industries easily. Shorter planning time, faster and more accurate delivery response. Shorten manufacturing lead times and reduce inventories of raw materials, work in process, and products. The production scheduling software, Asprova APS, brings these benefits to your company. To ensure that our customers can introduce our products with confidence, our experienced partners in Japan and overseas are ready to support your implementation. We also offer a wide range of support services, including help site, seminars, and training. If you want to know more, please attend seminars first. We also offer a free trial version. Please try it out.
We produce coffee, of course, but especially roasted and grind coffee and also roasted beans.
Jesteśmy drugą firmą w Polsce co do wielkości.
We are using in our company SAP system, and an ERP module of this system was not able to manage optimal silos utilization. Mainly because of this, we lost our efficiency.
Przed wprowadzeniem Asprowy największym problemem przy planowaniu były wąskie gardła, takie jak ograniczona ilość silosów.
Staramy się znaleźć jak najlepsze rozwiązanie dla nas, jeżeli chodzi w ogóle o sam proces planowania.
Nie widziałem takiej funkcjonalności, którą zaproponowała Asprowa, jak dynamiczne zarządzanie zasobami wąskimi gardłami.
Ta pozaoperacyjna część firmy pracuje w SAP-ie, w związku z czym Asprowa komunikuje się z SAP-em.
Now we all work on the same platform and transfer information is immediately correct and the same.
To była najlepsza decyzja, jeżeli chodzi o wybór oprogramowania do tak dynamicznie zarządzanego produktu.
Znam kilka pewnie mniejszych systemów, które zajmują się planowaniem tak pobieżnie, ale muszę przyznać, że Asprowa przoduje w tej dziedzinie i tak naprawdę jest dużo lepszym programem.
Our OE indicator have less than 15%. Now, after introducing Asprowa, we achieved 86%. Looking back, it was absolutely the perfect idea to start to use Asprowa.
World #1 manufacturer. Surface mount technology, Panasonic Factory Solutions. Electronic goods usually have printed boards with parts. It would be over 300 billions. How do they make such a precise thing so many? They use Panasonic machines and systems. World #1, over 30% market share. The process has several steps. Solder print, chip mounter, and reflow furnace. Required. High speed and quality. Managing. Many part stocks, setup times, dual lane production, independent and alternating mounting. Asprova is the only scheduling software that covers those complicated our requests. We propose Asprova to all SMT manufacturers.
Asprova 提供以下17个语言版本，有中文繁体、简体、日文、英文等版本。接着我们来看 Asprova APS 基本功能操作。
Let's start the demonstration of Asprova Sample 1. This is the initial screen view in Asprova. We will produce product A in the factory. First, open the item table. I am going to show you how to register the process for manufacturing product A. Please open the Graphical Integrated Master Editor. This is the production process for product A. First, input the raw material of product A into the mixing process. The mixing process uses the resource Mixer 1. We call all the necessary equipment, workers, etc., resources. The next process is packing. The necessary production equipment is Packer 1 or Packer 2. The third one is the inspection process. The resource here is the Inspection Center 1. Product A will be made by these processes. Then, I am going to show you more details about the definition of the process. Select the spreadsheet display. To make product A, we need to do the mixing, packing, and inspection processes. Input product A material into the mixing process. The quantity is 1. To output one item, the input of one item is also required. The resource Mixer 1 is used. It takes, in minutes, for setup, 10 minutes. For production, 15.1 minutes per item, and for teardown, 10 minutes. Next, at the packing process, the resource Packer 1 or Packer 2 is used. The production time of Packer 1 is 10.8 minutes per item, and the production time of Packer 2 is 22 minutes per item. For the third process, called inspection, the resource is Inspection Center 1, and the production time is 20.5 minutes per item. Input ES120 into the time constraint. It means that a 120-minute waiting time is necessary between mixing and packing. Input ES60 as we need a 60-minute waiting time between packing and inspection. After setting the master data, set the order information. There are 3 orders. Order 1 is to produce product A. Set 2016 June 7th, 12 o'clock as due date, 50 as order quantity, 99 as priority for order 1. For order 2, set 2016 June 7th, 12 o'clock as due date, 30 as order quantity, 98 as priority. For order 3, set 2016 June 10th, 12 o'clock as due date, 60 as order quantity, 80 as priority. We call the orders with priorities 50 to 90 just-in-time orders. To be produced just before the due date, the just-in-time orders are scheduled in a backward direction from the due date. We call the orders with red priorities 90 to 100 emergency orders. The emergency orders are scheduled forward. The forward here means that it is scheduled to start and finish as soon as possible. This is Resource Gantt chart. There are such facilities in the factory. The horizontal axis is the time axis. The gray area is operating time. Now we are ready to make a schedule. Just press the Reschedule button. I am going to explain how to understand this Resource Gantt chart. First, click Order 1. The first process will operate from 8:10 to 20:45 on June 2nd. Bring the intermediary items made by the first process to Packer 1 and pack them from 22:45 on June 2nd to 16:45 on June 3rd. After packing, bring them to Inspection Center 1 and inspect them from 17:45 on June 3rd to 19:50 on June 6th. This is the emergency order. The rush order with a 99 priority will be scheduled to start at the very beginning. Next, Order 2 will be scheduled. This order is displayed by red symbols. This indicates that the due date will be delayed. The due date is 12 o'clock on June 7th, but the end time is 17:05 on June 7th. In short, there is a late delivery. Then we can do a what-if simulation here. Drag the Saturday and Sunday and select Day Shift by right-clicking. The operating time in gray will be displayed, and we can assign to work here too. Then, just press the Reschedule button. Like this, we can assign work on Saturdays and Sundays so that it can be completed on time. Then, please look at Order 3. The priority of Order 3 is 80, so it is a just-in-time order. The just-in-time order will be assigned backward from the due date. The due date is 17 o'clock on June 10th. Asprova will firstly assign the third process to be completed just before the due date, the second process for the next, and the first process for the last. If we have a look at the integrated master editor table, the time constraint has been set at 120 and 60 as a waiting time between processes. These 3 processes are synchronized. For the factories, it is very important to be able to schedule just-in-time orders in a backward manner. By minimizing the waiting time between processes, it allows us to schedule manufacturing with minimal lead time. As a result, the size of production inventory is also reduced. As the end time of the order is the same as the due date, the inventory is 0. In addition, the size of work-in-progress inventory between processes will also decrease to a minimum level. Sometimes, we may suddenly get a rush order from a very important client. Let's schedule it supposing such a case. Set 2016 June 7th, 22 o'clock as due date. 10 as order quantity. 99.9 as priority, which means an emergency level for product A. Make a new schedule for the rush order. Let's set 18 o'clock as the current time. This operation is in progress. In order to make a new schedule, we have to consider the operation result. If you input 10 into the reported quantity, the diagonal lines will appear on the operation bar. The diagonal lines indicate that 10 items have been completed. Meanwhile, it also indicates that there is a delay in the operation. Press the Reschedule button. Now, we are ready to make a new schedule with the added rush order, taking into account the actual state. We can see now that the operation, which was delayed, moved toward the right. Then, the rush order was assigned here. So, having this schedule, it becomes possible to answer customers about possible delivery dates of rush orders. The steps I have explained so far form the complete cycle of scheduling in Asprova. Some users make a schedule with Asprova once a week, while other users make it once a day or twice a day. With Asprova, you can make a new schedule easily and quickly. As a result, it makes it possible to properly manage situations with sudden changes of orders while also taking into account the actual conditions.
接着由我来说明 Asprova 的自动补充功能。我们首先打开系统，在系统的订单表格里面，我们可以看到目前有一张销售订单 AX。我们来看 AX 的制造过程，打开制造泵，看 AX 的图形显示。X 是由半成品 A 及零件 X 所组成。半成品 A 是由 M3、M2、M1 制造而成。我们回到订单表格 ，AS 它有需求量3000个，它有 A 的半成品500个。M1、M2、M3 也各有它的库存在。我们现在按重新排程按钮，系统就会根据目前的需求量以及现有的库存数，帮我们产生补充的工单及采购单。
Here, we will explain the printed circuit board switching setup time. When an item is changed on an automatic mounting line, the NC program needs to be changed, and this requires setup time. If we set the item setup table, setup times will be assigned when items are switched. Here, we set the setup time to 30 minutes. Let's reschedule. The bar colors of the resource Gantt chart are set to items. Setup time is assigned to the location where the bar color changes on the automatic mounting line. If this operation is assigned to SMT line 2, the operation to its left will be the same item, which would eliminate the setup time. If we check the scheduling parameter settings, we can see that load leveling is specified. Therefore, as a result of leveling the load between SMT line 1 and SMT line 2, the operation is assigned to SMT line 1, which requires setup time. Let's add setup time minimization. Let's reschedule. When setup time minimization is taken into account, the operation is assigned to SMT line 2, which does not require setup time. As seen here, we can set the item setup table to schedule setup times when items are switched. We can also adjust the scheduling parameters to create schedules that minimize setup times. Next, we will explain the scheduling of the heating processes. Heating processes have the following characteristics. Several operations are performed at the same time. This is sometimes referred to as a batch. Since materials must be input at the same time and removed at the same time, the production time is the same. As operations at different temperatures cannot be performed simultaneously, operations that perform heat treatment at the same temperature are grouped together. Since the work cannot be suspended, it is not possible to insert breaks. Here, we will assign operations so that operations that share the same heat pattern in the order table are performed simultaneously. The heat pattern is registered as Spec 3. Looking at the integrated master editor, we can see that the production capacities for the heating processes are all the same. Next, we will set furnace resource Spec 3 in the resource type property of resources. As a result, the order's operations that share the same heat pattern are assigned as a group. The number of operations that can be input at the same time can be set with the calendar. Since resource quantity in the calendar is 3, 3 operations can be heat processed at the same time. Naturally, operations are assigned during scheduling so as not to exceed the resource quantity. Breaks cannot be inserted after operations have been input to the heating process. Therefore, we set -1m to production suspend time max to ensure that there are no suspensions. In this way, complex constraints, such as grouping of operations that requires that they share the same conditions and are input and removed at the same time, and not allowing suspensions, can be easily managed. Next, there is mold maintenance. There are cases when molds cannot be used for a certain period of time due to maintenance. At such time, use of the mold in question is disabled and the number of cavities is reduced for a given period of time. Let's make changes in the resource Gantt chart. Let's make July 1st to July 3rd the maintenance period for mold 2-1. Select the maintenance period, then right-click it and select Shift Code Maintenance. The set maintenance period is reflected when we reschedule. Upon rescheduling, operations are no longer assigned to the maintenance period. Mold 2-1 being in maintenance, it cannot be used, so the operation has been assigned to mold 2-2. Let's make a note that mold 2-1 is in maintenance from July 1st to July 3rd. Right-click on the resource Gantt chart and add a yellow double-headed arrow label. The arrow is displayed, so adjust its position and input text. If maintenance becomes no longer needed, the schedule can be changed easily. Delete the maintenance period registered to the calendar table. This cancels the maintenance period. Also, delete the label. Let's reschedule. Maintenance is no longer performed for mold 2-1, so operations are now assigned to this mold.
行业范例 ASPOVA APS 有提供以下17种行业的范例。今天介绍的是模具制造的范例，它的前段是机械加工，后段是装配作业。我们看一下模具制造的范例。
Let's start the demonstration of ASPROVA Sample 4. First, open the item table. The factory produces two products, named Mold 1 and Mold 2. Select the graphical master and display the production process of Mold 1. To make the product Mold 1, we need to produce 3 parts and assemble them. Switch to the spreadsheet display and display the details. To make the product Mold 1, these steps need to be done. At the final operation, assembly, these 3 parts become assembled together. The process code is 130 for base, 80 for holder 13, and 30 for punch. After inputting the master data, we register the order data. We have 2 orders. Order 1 says that one item of Mold 1 needs to be produced by 18 o'clock on June 16th with priority 70. Order 2 says that one item of Mold 2 needs to be produced by 18 o'clock on June 18th with priority 70. Priority 70 means a just-in-time order, so it will be scheduled backward from the due date. Please display the resource Gantt chart. This resource is the equipment at the factory. Then, just press the Reschedule button. The schedule result comes out. This is the schedule for Order 1. We can also see it on the Order Gantt chart. We can confirm the lead time and progress condition for each order on the Order Gantt chart. Please go back to the Resource Gantt chart. For example, we can move the final process to the right. By pressing the Reschedule button, other processes will be automatically synchronized and the new schedule will be made properly. Because of this, it is possible to quickly and easily adjust the schedule. Next, I will explain about the delivery promise for a rush item. On July 1st, 10 a.m., we received an order for Product 1 from the customer. we need to manufacture 100 pieces of product 1 by July 4th, 8 p.m. Since this is a rush order that requires rapid response, we set the priority to 99. There are times when the operations of the day have already started. The rush order should be started as soon as possible, but we want to avoid changing the day's operations schedule as much as possible. Therefore, let's set the rush order to be started from the next day and verify whether the due date can be met. In the Schedule parameters, select the Time Period tab. Specify the user-specified EST. Each order will be assigned from 2 days after their respective order date. Let's reschedule, giving priority to the rush order. Using dispatching rules from the scheduling parameter settings, we set the assignment order. From the top, we set due dates in ascending order, priorities in descending order, and order dates in ascending order. Let's reschedule. Based on the dispatching rules, the rush order is squeezed in. The start time of the rush order is July 3rd, midnight. This is 2 days after the order date. The end time is July 4th, 2:40 a.m. Since the due date is July 4th, 8 p.m., there will be no late delivery. Production will start from the next day, and production will be completed before the due date. In this way, we are able to create a schedule that reflects the results of each order. Furthermore, through simulation, we can also give delivery promises for rush orders.
紧急插单还有一种情况是工单做到一半，被强迫停下来，改生产紧急订单，等紧急订单完成后，再接着生产原来未完成的工单。此种情况在 Asprova 要怎么处理呢？我们打开系统，现在系统有3张工单要生产 M000566、567、568。假设 M000566 这张工单完成10%要停下来，改生产紧急订单。首先，我们在系统将 M00566 这张工单分割成2个作业。分别为 10% 及 90%。这样 M00566 变成2个作业。第一个制造数量是100，第二个数量是900。我们输入实际数量100。看一下甘特图。现在加入紧急订单。我们加入紧急订单 Rush， 然后重新排程。Rush 这张订单就排在最前面，将 M00566 002这个作业往右边推，接在 Rush 的后面。有时候我们希望紧急订单插单的时候，不要影响某些已经安排好 已经确定的排程作业。我们可以将作业固定，这样即使有新的紧急订单，也不会影响已经固定的作业。我们打开系统，看甘特图，现在有3张工单 M000566、567、568。假设我们将566及567两张工单固定，按右键选固定。把这2张固定下来之后，我们加入紧急订单 Rush， 然后重新排程。Rush 这张工单就排在 M000566及567的后面，不会影响566及567原来的排程。ASPOA 提供以下7种制程间的移动方法。ES and Start， 意思是前制程结束，后制程才开始生产，这是一般常用的方法。SS Start， 前制程开始，后制程也可以同时生产，但是这会产生一个问题，如果后制程的加工时间比前制程的加工时间短，会造成后制程完工时间比前制程完工时间早，会造成无法派工的情况。SS 一般用在流水线的 One Piece Flow 情况。SSEE Start End End， 这个方法是改善 SS 的缺点，前后制程同时开始，同时结束。EES and each start， 本制程作业被分割的情况，分割后的作业各自生产。ESE and start each， 前制程作业被分割的情况下，分割后的作业按照各自生产的数量与后制程进行关联。ESSEE Each Start and End， 当本制程的作业被分割的时候，把分割的各自作业的开始时间和结束时间与分割作业的制造数量相结合，跟前制程的作业时间关联，类似将 SSEE 和 EES 合在一起。SSEE Start End Each， 类似将 SSEE 与 ESE 合在一起的情况。有时候我们要限定某些工作，只有拥有某些技能的作业员才能做。在 ASPOA 资源表可以设定作业员所拥有的技能。在制造泵可以设定某些工作，只有拥有某种技能的人才能做。在资源有效条件当中设定，这样系统在派工时只会派送给符合条件的作业员工作。你也可以根据作业员技术水平的不同，设定不同的技术水准，变更不同的制造时间。 以这个例子而言，有作业员 A、B、C、D， 其技能各不相同，各为4、3、2、1，生产同一个产品 A， 生产数量为10。作业员 A 需要10小时，作业员 B 需要13小时20分，作业员 C 需要20小时，作业员 D 需要1天16小时。根据技术水平不同，所需的加工时间也不相同。
Utilize the dispatching view to confirm or adjust the operations. The dispatching view shows time on the vertical axis and resources on the horizontal axis. Different from the resource Gantt chart, it shows one operation on each line to confirm and adjust easily. Let's just display the operations of the two assembly machines. Select Dispatching View, Resource Filter. Set the property as resource code, the condition as equal, and the value as assembly 1. Select OR and set another expression of assembly 2 just like assembly 1. Click the OK button and you will find that only assembly machines are displayed. And you can move the operations in the dispatching view. Also, you can use the pop-up menu as well as the resource Gantt chart.